Hello everyone. Our today's topic of discussion will going to be and 3.2.S.4.4. In previous session, we have talked about the 3.2.S.4.1, 3.2.S.4.2, 3.2.S.4.3, and today we'll continue with 3.2.S.4.4. So just to recap the very briefly, we'll just talk about the which section we have seen and how it's relevant to the 3.2.S.4.4. So we have talked about the 3.2.S.4.1, which is a specification. Then 3.2.S.4.2, which was the analytical procedure. Then we talk about 3.2.S.4.3, which is an validation of analytical procedure. And our today's topic of discussion will be 3.2.S.4.4, which is batch analysis. So if you see, we have given the list of tests which are required to carry out the analysis of your or to test our API, which was given in a 3.2.S.4.1. But we haven't given the actual data or the batch testing record in the 3.2.S.4.1. So that's why this section is important. Here we're going to provide the actual data. So what is the purpose of 3.2.S.4.4? Is to provide the actual analytical results from the representative batches of the drug substance to demonstrate that the manufacturing process consistently produces the material that meets the proposed specification. So whatever the specification that you have, we have provided in 3.2.S.4.1, we have to show that these batches are showing or compliant with those. In simple terms, in 3.2.S.4.1, this tells the regulators what the API should meet. And in 3.2.S.4.4, it shows the regulator what the actual batch achieved. So, if you see, this makes the batch analysis an important bridge between the proposed specification and actual pharmaceutical performance. So, why this batch analysis is important? Imagine a company propose an API assay of 98 to 102%, and the regulator will naturally ask, do your actual batches consistently meet this specification? And at that time, your actual batch analysis will going to provide the evidence. So whatever the you have proposed, this 3.2.S.4.4 will going to provide an evidence. So for example, batch 1, 2, 3, 4, we got an results of 99%, 100%, 99.7, and last one 99.5. So if you see, all of these are within the like the proposed that we have given into the specification. So this demonstrates that the manufacturing process is consistently producing the API within a proposed acceptance criteria. Now, before we dive into deeply into the batch analysis, we'll first understand what does that mean by the batch analysis. So this is nothing but the presentation of analytical testing results which are obtained from the individual API batches. So here you have to understand one thing. Here we are talking about the, let me check why it's not. Okay, here we are talking about the, here we are talking about the batch analysis is presentation of the analytical testing results which are obtained from the individual API batches. So here we are talking about the API because we are discussing the S3.2.S.4.4. S stands for the substance, drug substance, that is API. So when we'll discuss about the P section, at that time we'll talk about the drug product batches. So this batch analysis is presentation of the analytical testing results which are obtained from the API batches manufactured using proposed or representative manufacturing process. And this data should demonstrate the identity, assay, purity, impurity profile, residual solvent, water content, and other relevant quality attributes. So what information is typically provided? For each batch, the dossier generally identifies the batch number and, very important, batch size as well, along with the manufacturing date. We also have to provide the manufacturing site, manufacturing scale, whether it is laboratory or pilot or commercial. And last, we have to provide the test results, the actual analytical results, which should be presented against the proposed specification. Now, examples of the batch analysis table. Here we could see these are the API specifications, identification, assay, total impurity. And here these are the actual batch results. So if you see, they have given the assay which is range, which for batch 1 it is 99.4, 100 and 99.7 for 3 subsequent batches. So likewise, we have to provide the batch analysis data. So what does this tell to the regulators? The batches demonstrate the consistent assay, control impurity level, control moisture content, compliance with the residual solvent, and batch-to-batch consistency. So in above batches, by performing this test, the regulators will understand these are consistent control and overall batch-to-batch consistency. Next concept we have to understand, which is a representative batches. The submitted batches should be a representative of proposed manufacturing process. And this is important because a company should not select best performing batches. If they are only selecting best performing batches, in that case, it will create an artificially favorable picture. So that will not be acceptable. The data should be provided the meaningful representation of the manufacturing performance. Now, why the batch size matters? If you see, for the development batch, let's suppose consider 5 kg, for pilot 50, commercial 500. If the proposed commercial process is 500 kg, the regulators will want to understand whether the submitted data adequately represent the commercial manufacturing process. So that's why this batch size is also an important point when it comes to the batch analysis. So next question is, what tests are usually included? So physical test, we have, it's obviously it depend on the API characteristics, is CQs, but in general, if you see, we have physical test, then chemical test. In chemical, we have assay, identification, related substance, water content, residual, and microbial test like the bioburden, endotoxin, or microbiological limits. Then batch analysis versus specifications. So in 3.2.S.4.1, we have seen the specification. So specification tells what should the API meet. For example, 98 to 10%. This information you will get in 3.2.S.4.1. But the 3.2.S.4.4, which is a batch analysis, will going to tell us what did actual batches achieve. So actual batch has achieved 99.4 or 900 or 99.7. So we can compare the specification against the actual batches and we can say it is compliant. So to easy remember, we have one trick. So specification will going to give a target. Batch analysis will give evidence that we have made the target. So what is the relationship between the 3.2.S.4 section? So if you see 3.2.S.4.1 answers the what should we test. S.4.2 tells the how should we test it. S.4.3 will going to tell us can we trust the method, whatever the method which is mentioned into the 3.2.S.4.2, can we trust that method by by doing the validation. 3.2.S.4.4, which is our today's topic, will going to tell us what did the actual batch shows, because it will going to contain data of actual batch. Then we have 3.2.S.4.5 that we'll discuss in upcoming session. We're going to answer why these requirements are appropriate. So remember the sequence. It will answer in a sequence: what, how, can we trust it, can we trust the method which developed, and what happened means the actual batch data, why, that is justification of specification. Then what does the batch analysis demonstrate? So in simple, it demonstrates the batch to batch consistency, then manufacturing process performance, specification suitability, impurity control, and overall API quality. So if you see here we have data of 3 batches: 99.8, 99.5, 98.4, and here the total impurity. And if you see the specification limit is 98 to 102 for the assay. So if you see all of these into the range, and for the impurities it is not more than 1%. So even these are also fall into the specification limit. But the problem, if you see, the values got increased for the batch number 3, and this is a significant improvement as compared to your previous 2 batches. So even in this case, the regulators will going to question us, like why there is out of trend was observed. We have to provide a justification for this. They might question, we are seeing the increase in impurities limit significantly. So we have to provide supporting data in this case. So that's what they have mentioned here. Technically, all 3 batches are pass, but the regulator may still investigate the trend. That is called as out of trend. And another concept is out of specification. Why? Because the batch number 3 is approaching the specification limit. This could trigger the question regarding the process variability, impurity formation, process control, or manufacturing consistency. So what is the key lesson? So the passing the specification does not automatically means there is no regulatory concern. Regulators also look at the trends and consistency. So what the regulators' expectation is? Regulators generally expect the batch analysis data to be representative, complete, traceable, consistent with the proposed specification, generated using an appropriate analytical procedures, representative of proposed manufacturing process, and sufficient to demonstrate the consistent API quality. Common deficiencies could be insufficient number of batches or non-representative batches, incomplete results or inconsistent specification, or unexpected outlier. These could be some of the common deficiencies observed. So what is one line takeaway for this 3.2.S.4.4? 3.2.S.4.4 is where you stop telling the regulators what the API should look and shows them what the actual batches did. So this is all about the batch analysis 3.2.S.4.4. In upcoming session, we'll talk about 3.2.S.4.5, which is a justification of specification. Justification of specification. So that's for today. Thank you.